Hi, I'm Christopher John Farley, an editor at the Wall Street Journal. I'm here with Cuba Gooding Jr., the star of Boys in the Hood, Men of Honor, and he has a new film out called Red Tails. Cuba, thanks a lot for coming to the Wall Street Journal.
Anytime, Chris. Good seeing
And
you.
I left out Jerry Maguire, the one you won the Oscar for.
I thought you were waiting for that and leave that as best, save the best for last type thing.
Well, your new movie, Red Tails,
Yes, sir.
executive produced by George Lucas,
That's right.
the guy behind Star Wars, Indiana Jones. What's it like working with him? What does he bring to a project like this?
The definition of his very essence is one that enthralls people to pay attention. I mean, you know, the fact that he was telling the tale of the Tuskegee Airmen, I knew visually this was going to be something that people haven't seen since the first Star Wars. And it actually has been that. I mean, when he was on the set the first day, I kind of saddled up next to him and we just started a mild conversation, and I noticed that everybody around the set was like leaning in and stopping what they were doing just to hear what he had to say. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Now, the film is set in World War II. Mm-hmm. Tell me briefly, what is it about? It's
about the Tuskegee Airmen who they achieved an amount of excellence while doing bomber escorts for the B-52, B-17, B-24 bombers over the skies of Berlin, Germany. It's also about how they interacted within each other on the Ramitelli Air Base, which was the first all-black air base because it was during when the military was segregated. So,
and the Tuskegee Airmen, they were the first all-black unit in the U.S. Armed Forces, so they broke a lot of ground.
That's right.
How did you feel about being part of the story? You actually did a movie called Tuskegee Airmen for TV before.
That's correct.
Way back in the 90s.
That's right.
What made you want to revisit the story and do it for the big screen this time?
Well, one thing is they don't really greenlight a lot of movies about African American history. Mm-hmm. So when they do with a filmmaker of substance, real substance, everybody clamors to get aboard. But the first movie that I'd done it dealt with the racism that they dealt with in training in Tuskegee, Alabama, and then culminated to the first efforts in the war. This one takes place after they've gone to Ramitelli, Italy, already establishing the 332nd Fighter Group, and it's an action movie. I mean, this is a really hold your seat ride.
George Lucas self-financed this.
That's right.
He put in $93 million of his own money to get this made. When you heard about that, when you heard the kind of money he was betting on this movie to be a success, how does it make you feel as an actor? Do you feel like you have to deliver for the guy?
Oh, yeah. Not only that, I think on the set every day we had a Tuskegee Airman, a surviving member of the Tuskegee Airmen. And to see these 90-something-year-old men staring at you, hoping that you're bringing truth to their legacy, it makes you keep your game up, And then, as you said, the gamble, the financial gamble that George Lucas put in, you just want to do your best work, And the emotional gamble that he put in because, you could tell that he's really passionate about spreading the word about what these American heroes did and to celebrate all men and women, whatever the color of the armed forces, and letting the world know that it's cool to be American again.
Now, Lucas also said that he couldn't get a major Hollywood studio to get on board to help him finance this because it was an all-black movie with a large budget.
Right.
When you hear something like that bounce around in Hollywood, hear him say something like that, how does it make you feel as an actor, as someone who's had success in Hollywood? Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, it's funny because you're talking to an actor who's been around for a while, and the studio executives, they run around motivated by a lot of different variables. And, a good friend of mine, Jerry Bruckheimer, he had his movie shut down. So they'll throw any excuse not to give you money to do a movie. So it just makes me feel good when you have an outcome like this. When you have a movie as exciting as the one we made in Red Tails. And you got George Lucas saying, even if they won't give me the money, I'll put the money up myself. That should tell the public that this is something extraordinary to see.
Now you have two veteran performers leading this cast.
Yeah.
You, Terrence Howard.
Terrence who?
Terrence Howard, Now, how did you feel about working with some of the younger cast members who, some of them, it was their first movie, their first time, in such a big movie?
Yeah.
Did you give them your expertise? Were you a mentor to any of them? What was that like?
I'm glad you asked me that because, we have so many talented new voices coming up in this movie. Nate Parker not only acts, but he produces and he directs this little short movie that he presented to George Lucas. And Elijah Kelly's brilliant, David Oyelowo, who plays the main fighter pilot, Lightning. I mean, it's interesting to be in this business this long and see the next generation coming up and be a part of something that's all inclusive and so many different looks at our profession. And it's just been interesting. And even Neo is brilliant in the movie, and we only mainly know him as an entertainer, as a singer. He's done a few roles, but this one I think he really comes into his own in his character, and it's a very different Neo than you've seen before. So the whole process to me has been very inspiring and surreal. We screened the movie for President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama at the White House past Friday, and there were some surviving airmen there in the theater, and there were tears. And I mean, just to be standing in the White House with an African-American president, with these American heroes, showing a film and it says Red Tails and Cuba Gooding Jr. I mean, it's too much for me. To be in that room, I shouldn't even, I mean, these are, people have given so much for their country. It was great to be there.
And the story may not be over, because Lucas has said that he may want to do a prequel, he may want to do a sequel, depending on how well this opens. Have you heard about that? And have you talked to him about that?
I'm available for the prequel, the sequel, craft service, costuming, car washing. Expensive though. No, I'm kidding.
Well, with that, man, thanks a lot for coming to the Wall Street Journal. Cuba Gooding Jr., Oscar winner,
Thank
star
you
of Red Tails. Thanks a lot.